Good evening, peeps. It's Al Q here. It is Sunday night, 6:50 on the 1st of November. After we set those clocks back an hour last night, hopefully everyone got their extra hour of sleep. And what do we have in front of us for tonight into tomorrow? Well, we have a wind advisory from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Monday. Northwest winds 20 to 30 miles per hour with gusts up to 50 miles per hour. Gust winds could blow around unsecured objects, and tree limbs can be blown down with a few power outages possible. All right, so be careful tomorrow, and it's going to get very cold. Tomorrow is not going to get out of the low 40s for the northern New Jersey region. So speaking of the temperatures and the winds, let's take a look. Here's a GFS model. Here is an overview, basically, of the Northeast region. And as we play this through, we can see as the winds go from pretty calm to they start to pick up, and you can see these are the sustained winds, 20, 30 miles an hour, and then they die off. Now let's take a look at the gusts. Okay, so our wind gusts, pull it back a little bit here, and let's play it forward. We're talking in the 20s mile an hour range to we get up into the 40 and 50 mile an hour range here by the GFS. All right, and then the gusts still stay with us through Tuesday, as you see. And then it all dissipates, and things become more tranquil as we move through the latter part, or the second half of the week, from the hump day on. Let's take a look at the temperatures. You see here tonight, we'll get down into the 20s and 30s in the region. Another very cold winter-like night tomorrow. As you see, the temperature does not get out of the low 40s. All right. And then things start to warm up as we get to the latter part of the week. Tuesday night's very cold again. And that cold starts to move out. We start to see more of those yellow temperatures, which are the warmer temperatures. Everyone loves, we get a little ocean influence. And look, we get to the 60-degree range, low 60s by Thursday, and then Friday we are into the mid 60s. All right, and probably in the urban areas they'll get probably close to 70. That'll be on Friday, so it'll be like a heat wave coming in for what we've been experiencing this past week and this weekend so far. So snowfall amounts from this past storm, as we could see in the area on the call, 2 inches in the northwestern Passaic County region, northern New Jersey region. Let's take a better look at this map here. Where are we going here? Oh, no, that's not what I want. This is up in Massachusetts. A lot of snow there. This is in Randolph, New Jersey. Decent amount of snow. And here's the snow map I wanted to look at. Oh, no, that is not the one. Here is the one I wanted to look at. How about that? 3 times the charm. So we'll zoom in a little bit. We can take a closer look at this. And as we see, we had a decent amount of snow for the area. Like I said, you get about an inch, which started down here in this region. This is a trace. All right, this region right here, all the way up into what I like to call Gershland and Richie, where Richie and Carol live, up in this region, up in here. All right, and they had, as you see, 2 to 3 inches, 4 inches of snow total in this region. So it was a pretty good call overall for northern New Jersey into the lower Hudson Valley region as well. Okay, so we have that. Now, let's move on to take a look at the October temperature anomalies. Look at all this warmth up in the Arctic region. Look at all the cold down in the Antarctic region. So they said it was the 9th warmest on October records, since records have been kept. But if we take a look at this map, we can see, this is from Thursday, you can see even if it is that warm, it is still very, very cold. Minus 20s, minus teens. So it's kind of a wash in the long run. It really doesn't make much sense overall for what they're talking about. So on our next, we were there already. Let's get this together here. All right, so our snowfall forecast. Well, it's not going to really affect us. Maybe northwestern New Jersey will see some flakes flying. All right, out in State College, they'll see some flakes, but the lake effect snows will be kicking in due to this storm that'll be pushing up and out. The low pressure is forming now off of Atlantic City, and it will come up and out in the northeast direction, and it will bomb out over the southeastern Canadian provinces, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, and then on the return flow, we'll get a very strong northwest wind. That's why we're going to be so cold. All right, for the upcoming days. Let me see, I think I have some more pictures here to share. Oh, yeah, here is PB up in West Milford. That's up in the Gershieland area. See right there. All right. And that's what you have to share there. For the long range, this is quite interesting. This comes from Larry Cosgrove, a very good long range forecaster. All right. He has put for November what his thoughts are. He thinks it's going to be a little bit warmer. But he says it's going to be close overall to the temperature mean over the last 12 years, which was a little warmer than normal. December, he thinks it's going to be difficult to forecast. All right. He thinks it depends on where the high latitude anticyclone will set up. That's usually what's called the Greenland block. All right. If it's stronger than what is projected, we're going to be very cold in the Midwest and Northeast. Now we get to January. Harder winter. He said a much colder outlook than a previous attempt. The presence of ridging in the EPO, AO, and NAO positions are going to be negative. That means very cold air is going to be on tap. All right, and cold pooling in the Canadian provinces, which can easily spill into the Midwest and the Northeast. He thinks the storm track is going to stay inland, but a little shift to that will then turn it into an eastern seaboard wonderland as we start 2021. Let's hope for that, right, Snow Queen and Princess? February, similar to January, he believes, and he believes there will be a stable blocking ridge over the Arctic. That means higher pressure over the Arctic. That means more cold air can spill into the continental United States. All right, and he thinks there will be cold air through the eastern two-thirds of the nation. All right, and a major snowstorm along the East Coast possible in February. Well, that's not a far stretch because we usually get our best snowstorms in February. Those are usually our nor'easters, our coastals. And with blocking, they can become what we call blockbuster. March, another example of back-end winter. Well, it looks like he's going to cancel spring out here for us because with the high latitude blocking and its strength, all right, helps sustain cold right of the continental divide. Well, continental divide is up or over in the Rockies. So he's saying an abundance of snow in the Great Lakes, Mid-Atlantic, and New England for March. All right. Summary. Snow cover in the northern hemisphere does not look anything special right now. Well, he's dead wrong right there because we're at the highest we have ever been. It looks like a hockey stick. All right, he's dead wrong on that. All right, but he believes Miller B's could make some for memorable winter storms along the East Coast. That's where a clipper dives in, then it forms another storm off of the coast, and it rides up the Northeast. A cold winter overall than the 5 most. I have to say one thing about Larry Cosgrove. He usually is very cautious. He's usually on the warm side for his winters. This is where I think he's hedging towards because this very warm pool of water right here sitting off the west coast and this very cold pool basically in the southern Pacific. This is along the equator here. This is a La Nina. If you get a high pressure building here, what happens is the air will go up, dive down, and come back up. Up here, if you get a high pressure, well, you have two blocks. All right. This one will help pull the cold air down and drive it in to the Northeast region and Mid-Atlantic. If the high pressure system comes further out, well, then it stays a little further west of us in the Northeast region. So this is what I think he's hedging on right here. All right. Not much tropical activity going to be happening due to this La Nina for the winter as far as convection is concerned with thunderstorms. But this region over here is also quite interesting because that would mean that what's called a Madden-Julian oscillation would be in a phase 2 type of pattern, also over towards a phase 1-ish, but not quite. Okay, that usually means a phase 2, phase 1, or phase 8. Those usually mean cold eastern winters, right? Depending on how long that cycle holds. So here are the latest sea surface temperatures. It's a very warm pool of air, of water off the west coast. All right, just south of the Gulf of Alaska. That'll pool there, and if it comes up against the coast, well, then you could bet your bottom dollar I'll put dollars to donuts on that. We'll have a very cold and snowy winter. I think it's going to be a long one. It started October 30th, and I don't think it's going to end until later March, early April. All right, so just some insight there. I want to thank you for watching and listening. Hope you will have a great evening. Be careful tomorrow with the high winds, and you're going to have some wind chills, and the apparent temperatures are going to be down into the low 20s. All right. So you all have a great evening. Share with like-minded people and subscribe.